What's up, everyone? We're in the little greenhouse space rented and operated by the lovely Sarah Johnson over there. And this is our Overflow collection. Weird stuff that we can't fit in our tiny little apartment or that needs a little bit more of a climate-controlled condition. This is where it comes for the winter. And it's a mess. It's an old, dilapidated greenhouse that's not maintained very much, but it's our space. We do the best we can with it. And I just want to show you what's over here today. I've had this euphorbia. It wants to jump ship, so I'm using some weightiness to hold it down. It's variegated. This isn't my favorite, but we've had it for a long time, and when this starts to grow and get really sunny in the summer, it turns pink, which is pretty lovely. It's just a goofy looking plant overall. Some little agaves. Like I said, this little ice plant or whatever it is, it's not Delosperm anymore. It is reverting, I guess would be the right way, reverting back to non-variegated form. This is our little sensitive plant here, Mimosa pudica, being sensitive to the touch. All done with changes in turgor pressure, thought to help avoid herbivory. This is a jasmine that just got done flowering quite a bit, right? This flowered pretty prolifically.
Yeah, I've had a few blooms on it. It struggled in the house.
Yeah, it struggled in our house, brought it over here, and it's finally getting some nice green shoots on it. If anyone knows how to keep these plants happy, comment down below. This is one of the favorites in here. I was just saying to Sarah earlier that it's just so voluptuous with its flowers. It's a Kufia. I call it firecracker, but it's a species native to Mexico. And it just won't stop flowering now that we brought it in. And when all summer was a big hit with the hummingbirds, and now it's in here brightening up the space, growing, being pretty happy. This is a rather recent acquisition. Agave Montana, grown from seed by a friend. This is a papaya, also grown from seed by our friend Dave Janis, Dave the Plant Guy on Instagram, follow him. He just said, give this as much water, light, and nutrients as you possibly can, and it'll just keep growing. And that's what it's doing. I love the little growth tips hiding inside here. It's got a lot of exudates if you keep it well watered, but look at that little growth area right there, the apical meristem where all the new growth comes from. Such a nice indoor tree, good tropical look. This is super fun. It's got some delayed greening to it. It's a phenomenon you see often in the tropics. This is a rose apple, and the reason it does this, and the reason why a lot of other plants do this, is that delayed greening, they think, makes it less appealing, the young shoots that is, less appealing to herbivores because they don't have a lot of nutrients in them yet. But soon this will start to pump in more chlorophyll. You can see these leaves are already turning green now that they're kind of getting mature and a little bit harder and a little more resistant to herbivory. But a lot of times rose apple seedlings, the seeds themselves are polyembryonic, and I think that's what happened here. This isn't a sucker, this is just the second embryo that was in that seed. I guess it's a phenomenon that happens quite a bit in those plants. We just acquired this little one from a little nursery in town here. So this wasn't our potting job, but it's a nice little cactus as well. This is a sour lemon. Just germinated from a friend that was moving. He just germinated seeds like we do, just for fun, and it's been growing, and I've been keeping it going ever since. I don't know, I might try to, wire out the branches, make it look all old and aged, but it'd be cool if it started to flower and produced those wonderful citrus blossom smells. It's a white knight, it's a hybrid, Oncidium, multi-generic hybrid there, that's growing just fine. Let's see, this is Bauhinia grevii. This is the orchid tree, right?
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful flowers, but I guess it responds well to pruning and bonsaiing, so one might keep that small. Same with the podocarps here, the Buddha pines. Just gotta get these transplanted at some point come spring, hopefully, I don't know, but they respond well to pruning and growing indoors. This is another friend germinated gift. This is tamarind. Nice legume, Fabaceae there. Seems to be doing just fine in a pot. Aloes. Lots of just random stragglers. This is our pandanus you saw in the video. It's got the Philanthus seedling in it over there. This is a pandanus. It's one of the more cold, hardy species. This will grow into a huge tree, and honestly, I don't think we'll ever have room to keep this happy in anywhere but a greenhouse. I'll probably donate it, give it away before we move, because it is spiky, and it's not something I want to contend with trying to move into other tight spaces. This is a cowhorn orchid. It was a gift from my late friend Mark Witten, who has sadly passed away last year, but I'm going to keep it alive and going in his memory. And it's doing really well. It's one of those that really likes to stay dry during the winter, and then as much food and water as you can give it over the summer, and it grows these beautiful, beautiful stalks and gets really nice yellow leaves. This rough looking dude is the beautiful epiphyllum you saw blooming in our time lapse we posted a few months back. It got blasted by squirrels towards the end of the year, so we had to bring it in, give it some triage, but I think it's gonna make it through. If not, we can just root some cuttings. We're working on it. These also took a hit in our house. You know, certain plants just don't work well in a dry apartment where you can't really keep the temperature how they like it. These are heliconias. You probably saw these in a What's Blooming video. They took about 9-10 months to germinate from seed that I got from a friend, but here they are. They got hit really bad with spider mites in our house, which is what you're seeing here, all this yellowing and damage on the side of the leaves, but managed to knock that back using mostly just water, wiping it down with some soapy water every now and then we brought them over here, potted them up in much bigger pots, and I think they're finally taken off. This is a very short, beautiful species of heliconia with big red bracts around their flowers, and they get blue berries. It's a little culantro working through the winter. It's flowering right now. It's an eryngium, member of the carrot family. This is culinary ginger. Just repotted this. We'll see how it likes it. I've heard it likes to go dormant, but look at the size of that rhizome. This was just a little piece of ginger that was sitting on our counter. It was spared a little bud or a little node, and started to sprout on the counter, so I threw it in soil. And that's what happened. This is the cane begonia. It's a hybrid. I've let this go dormant every year. That was one of the big things I've learned with some of these canes, is that they will actually go through like a deciduous dormancy. It used to drop all its leaves and would just kind of get these shrivelly but yet succulent stems that would get it through the winter, and then in the spring I would just put it outside when the threat of frost was over and let it do its thing. But I moved it into the greenhouse this year to see if it'll stay, and I think it is starting to go through another growth spurt being in here. There's a nice bud starting to form on a lot of the tips of these branches. So we'll see. It's an experiment. This is a Tibucina we bought as a very cheap annual at the end of the spring or summer there, and we are just trying our best to keep this thing alive. It's got some new sprouts down here, which could probably just clip like these, and let that bush out if it makes it, but we'll see. Same with this begonia here. This went through another growth spurt as soon as we brought it in. It's one of those all-star variety hanging basket types, just beautiful flowers, couldn't resist. Yeah. That's the greenhouse. This is our little space. This is triage room, this is Overflow, so, you know, not the best cultured specimens in the world, but they're trying, and that's what it's all about, is learning. Thanks for watching.